Hi, you guys. Oh my God. Did you like today's bonus audio in the Patreon? Took me a long time to do that one. We covered a lot of tea in that. And I gave you my theory on what I thought happened during the robbery and why PK is behaving so strangely. Hey, guess what? I bought that Instagram lip gloss that supposedly makes your lips big, and I'm going to put it on so you can see if it works. Okay, ready? I'm not going to show the brand because if it's crap, I don't want you to buy it. My son's going to start screaming in a minute. Okay, so here we go. See if you see my lips get any bigger. All right? This is that thing that all the ladies are like, look at my lips. It's changed my life. Let's see if it really changes my life. Let's see if my lips grow bigger while we're talking. All right. Okay, so you guys let me know in the comments. All right, so I first wanted to start off tonight's video by letting you know that I did watch already the after show to see if there was any great tea in it or something that was really cool. Last week's was pretty good, so I gave it a shot this week. This week, you could skip it, okay? There wasn't anything really like mind-blowing. I think probably the only really juicy thing was sort of an understanding of how Sutton and Kyle got back together, and that was that Sutton reached out to Kyle and said she felt really bad, and she wanted to have dinner with Kyle so they could talk, and it was off camera, and that made Kyle believe it was real. And Sutton said, listen, you know, we both did each other dirty on the show, and I just want to apologize because I kind of feel bad about it now, and I just want to say I'm really sorry. And I guess they both cried, and it was a really touching conversation, and they felt really close again. So that allowed Kyle to lean on Sutton, and that's what we're seeing kind of play out with this season, which kind of explains the first scene with Sutton where she's saying in episode 1, kind of out of the blue, you know, I felt bad for what I did to Kyle and I apologized and we kind of reconnected. But that was the bigger story behind them coming back together again. And of course, Kyle believed it because it wasn't on camera. My son's playing video games. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. I love this filter. This is true. I really dream like this about turkeys for Thanksgiving with gravy. I want to play right now for you Kathy Hilton's anniversary video with Rick Hilton really quick. It's one of my favorite teas that came out this week.
Here, a little over 20 years ago, Kathy's mother, she said to me, you know who you're about to marry? And I said, who's that? She said, it's Lucille Ball. And I knew Kathy had a great sense of humor. I knew she was absolutely knockout gorgeous. And also that she was very bright. But myself, not being an idiot about it, I said, you know, this is a catch, and I'd better close this deal. And looking back over the last 20 years, I must say that not only are you funny like Lucille Ball, gorgeous beyond beliefs and smarter than most people I've ever met, but you've been just a fantastic wife. You are a great mother to our 4 children. You are a great lover to me, but I think also something very important is that Kathy is my best friend. And as I think about the last 20 years, and we dated about 5 years before that, that it just gets better every year. And honey, I'm looking forward to the next 20, spending the rest of my life with you. I love you.
So take a look at my lips. They getting any bigger? I'm like going to start looking like Daffy Duck. So why do I want to play this anniversary video for you? Because it shows why Rick Hilton fell for Kathy Hilton. It's her sort of, he calls it the Lucille Ball kind of factor, where she's sort of silly and gets into trouble all the time and she's funny. And that's, you're getting a sense of it on the show. Now, I have heard people comment in the Hilton family that sometimes, she was a little preoccupied with fun, and perhaps that's why Rick Hilton loved her so much. Maybe she wasn't all about the kids all the time. She had kids and she took care of them, but she wasn't focused on them necessarily. She's focused on doing fun things in a social life. And perhaps what we learn in tonight's episode is that could be good with certain men, like what's happening with Dorit and PK. PK's biggest complaint is Dorit doesn't want to go out with him anymore now that she's with the kids. She doesn't want to socialize with him. He can't have fun with her anymore. She's always holding things over his head. She makes him feel less than. And you guys know that I've been saying forever that I believe that PK cheated in London several times. I don't know about LA. That's what I believe. I have my reasons for it. I believe it because I knew some of his friends in London. They all had mistresses. I believe that PK has fun and he kind of lives on the seat of his pants. And if he's not getting sex from Dorit and they're really bashing each other and he's going away for weeks at a time, he's definitely seeing someone. That's just the way these guys operate. It doesn't take a brain scientist to put it together. And in tonight's show, you get a sense of that. He's not that into you comes to mind as Dorit is trying to sort of still work through their marital woes. PK's already Mr. Single Guy. And why did it only take 5 minutes for him to do? Because he's been Mr. Single Guy a hell of a lot longer than this, 24 hours before this dinner or whatever she was saying on the show. A long time. Maybe before she was even aware they were having problems. And it's just too bad that the tabloids picked up on the gossip when I reposted it about her flirting with Mauricio Umansky on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and made it like I said that Dorit was cheating with Mo. I never, ever said that. I just said the fans were saying it and I reposted it. And then Dorit used it as a way to attack me and PK attacked me and all this stuff. What I really wish they had picked up on was this gossip, because this gossip is based on people that I know in London versus that gossip, which was just me saying, look at what the fans are saying. And I kind of think it's true. I do think Dorit flirted with Mauricio, obviously, because she was love-starved from PK not being around or her not being attracted to him anymore. Maybe because he was such a, she didn't respect him. That's what it came down to when he had big money and he was throwing it around, $50,000 bottle service. She thought he was like a big swinging dick, but he wasn't. She just didn't know that she was just in that very special chapter, right? After he fled England because of his bankruptcy. I wonder where his assets are. I know some aren't in Dorit's name. I wonder if she knows where they are. Too bad she came for me because I'd love to have helped her with that. And for those of you who still like reality TV for reality, this is my house right now. This is why I have a giant echo. And remember when I said my house was like a fucking cave? Well, now you know. It really is like a cave. Look at that. Listen to the echo. Hello? Yodelay-hoo. John and I are going to go and meet up with Peggy from Real Housewives of Orange County and her daughters tomorrow to have some fun. Mike is going to cook us din-din. And I'm going to a really cool resort, not a Hilton. I'm such a rebel. I have no problem with Hilton, but it's a Marriott. And we're going to go hang out at that resort and have fun. Maybe some content will come out of it. Who knows? All right, so let's get into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, Episode 2. One of the themes on tonight's show is getting to know Bose better. Now, Bose, as you guys have already heard a lot, that she's the head, that she was CMO for quite a bunch of different companies, Pepsi, Netflix, and others. And in true Bose fashion, she really was careful how she introduced her character onto the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because she wanted everyone to believe that she was super, super successful as a big executive and that now she was going to become like an entrepreneur. And that was sort of her transition. And she brings up in a pivotal moment on the show at one of her, paid, I guess, self-help or motivational or business advice sessions that she's having for a huge room of people. that she had realized that she wasn't doing well at Pepsi, and then she left, and that taught her a lot, how to like change and pivot. And, then she went on to work for a lot of big brands. But I do want to point out something that I did want to say. Bose's company, by the way, is called Eve. It's hair extensions and wigs. Here you go, one of Bose's ads for Eve. She launches her own hair care and wig brand. So now Bose has had a few problems with big executives at companies. I just wanted to say this not to criticize Bose because she's had a great executive career. But my point is there's a lot of people that like make themselves sound like they were so amazing because they landed a spot in a high executive position in a big company, which is difficult because you have to climb a corporate ladder. I did it, so I know. I'm speaking from my own experience. I was director of business development for Studio System, which I helped Kellen Brannon, the CFO of Amazon. I worked under her and reported into her. I positioned that company for a big sale in the entertainment industry. I've not only worked as an entrepreneur, but I've also worked in that capacity. So I felt a lot for Bose's character, and I was grateful to see that type of person joining the cast. However, what I don't want lost is a lot of people like Bose get, kicked by executives in these high-level positions. And it would be a lie to imagine that Pepsi was the only time that happened, okay? It happened to her at Netflix. You can see some examples here. Hollywood Reporter covered it March 22nd, 2022. Some allege that she focused too much time on personal brand building and side hustles, like the Badass Workshop and leading a Harvard Business School short program. And that was why she, lost her job, or they not lost her job, but left Netflix, and Netflix said okay. And also that she might have gotten into a rift with Sarandos, who was a big player in Netflix. I'm just saying this not to take any of Bose's thunder away. It's more to just for the young people, like looking to her as an inspiration to understand that I would imagine that Bose had a lot of awesome positions in these big companies as CMO, and like all the magazines she said she was the best ever, etc. But the truth is, I'd say a lot of those executives butted heads with her a lot, and they wouldn't appreciate her doing her side things. So I guess what I wanted to do by bringing up the Netflix situation was it wasn't just Netflix, it was also Pepsi, as she mentions. But I'm sure if I dig a little deeper, there are more women who climb up the executive ladder, who get as high as Bose does, generally have to give up something, and they're looked down on for doing side projects or being motivational speakers. So I just don't want people watching Bose and going, oh, wow, I could have it all. You really can't. It's one or the other, which we're about to see her go on this journey where she's about to do entrepreneurial stuff now, and it's very challenging. And she's doing it in a big way, like a big brand, because that's how she was trained. The question is, will she be able to, by copying the big brands with her background, make that kind of into a lot of money and not spend all the money? I'll just do one more to demonstrate my point. Bose works at Endeavor for only 2 years. Then she goes and leaves there, and she goes to Netflix. She's only with Netflix for about 1.5 years before she has a falling out with the head guy that she was reporting into over there. Then she starts her own brand. So what am I trying to tell you? No matter what, like be chief marketing officer, be the most powerful woman in the planet, but it doesn't matter when you're in these types of environments. You're going to play ball a certain way, or, you're not going to be able to maintain that, chief marketing officer title. You're going to get booted out of the company. And so I'm glad she's doing her entrepreneurial thing, but I just didn't want you guys to think like it sounds so shiny the way they did it on the show. And I know that's intentional, and it is huge achievement. She'd be so proud of all these big companies she's worked for, but it's not as easy as it looks, even for her. Now, Bose worked with Beyonce and Dre in different capacities while she was working with these big corporations. And Dre, she was actually reporting into. So I wonder if we'll see him or her on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I can now see why Dorit really loves Bose, besides that she's the only one in the whole cast that's supportive to her, because I don't know if you guys knew this, but when Dorit announced her separation, almost no one in the cast reached out to her. Kyle was the only one, and they were like frenemies at the time, big time, and I don't know, someone else did. Dorit didn't say who, but almost everybody didn't reach out at all to see if she was okay. So what does that tell you? CPK used to do the marketing for Dorit, so now maybe Bose will help her. I helped Taylor when I was doing sponsorships. So we find out that Bose's husband died of cancer, and it was really tragic how it went down. He was this like Italian white guy, totally different than her. They fell in love. She gets pregnant. He finds out he has cancer, and within a few years, he's passed. And he has this young baby who's just born when it all goes down. And Bose is just left devastated with a young child and a lot happening. She's been a widow for 10 years. She's just met a guy. She's starting to date again, and she seems pretty happy about it, which congratulations, Bose. She has a lot of money. She lives in a really cool house. We see it on the show. Very well done. I think she has a wig room with blinged out brushes and tons of wigs and all of her product in there. She also has a house, I think, in Malibu. So she's got a really cool lifestyle for a single chick. Hot commodity. And she's gorge. On tonight's show, we find out that Mauricio Umansky replaced Kyle Richards' loving picture with him in his office with his Dancing with the Stars partner. This one, Emma Slater from Dancing with the Stars, was the one in the picture. But I mean, it's kind of obvious he was dating her, right? For at least a period of time and really liked her. Something happened with them. First, we get the paparazzi pictures in the parking lot. I forget it. Matsuhisa, I think it was. And then, I don't know, they're hanging out together all the time and dancing sexy with each other. And then he puts her on his desk, so he looks at her all the time. I don't think it was that he was in love with Dancing with the Stars, put it that way. Sutton Strack and Erica Jane Girardi couldn't get over how much Mauricio Umansky loved being famous himself. So on tonight's episode, Sutton Strack sits down with Kyle Richards and says, you need to get a divorce and you need to get it now. Draw a line in the sand because anything you make going forward will then be yours. But if you don't do that, then anything moving forward is 50-50. Now, Mauricio has said on, I think it was Buying Beverly Hills, that he will always take care of Kyle Richards financially and she'll never have to worry. But I guess Sutton Strack didn't feel like that was going to really be a real thing, especially if Mauricio meets a girl or maybe loses some of his empire. Now, Kyle said, look, I'm partners in the agency. Mauricio treats me that way and sees me that way, so I'm always going to get half of that anyway. And Sutton didn't seem to believe it. So we'll have to see. Remember, Mauricio had Kyle sign a bunch of things and she didn't know what she signed. She could be divorced already and not even know it. So Kyle's feeling really lonely, and Kathy Hilton, Erica Jane Girardi, and Sutton Strack decide to become Amazon delivery men and surprise Kyle with the pizza party and pajamas. It's around this time that we see a confessional video that Erica Jane Girardi admits that Tom Girardi had a girlfriend that he slept with and had her picture under his desk at work. And Erica went in and used to see it under his desk and knew he hid it there, but of course never admitted any of this on the show. And I think to the court, she was like, I never went in that damn office, even though we know she did a lot from the staff that worked there. But it's funny how the stories always shift. Now, the only notable thing at this pizza party is that Kathy Hilton drags Mauricio for putting thirsty workout videos online, obviously to attract women. Kyle Richards is defending him because she's like, he's good looking. And Kathy's like, not really. But then Kyle's like, don't drag him to make me feel better about myself, because that's not gonna, because she's worried about her kids. That's the reason Kyle doesn't want Kathy to do that on camera. But Kathy doesn't care because Mauricio dragged her family. So she's like, screw him. He did. He dragged her family on buying Beverly Hills. It was a big plot point. So fair game, Kathy. And Kathy's a Pisces like me, so watch out. There's revenge cooking. Meanwhile, there's no Morgan Wade so far, so we're all rolling our eyes like, come on, Kyle. Where is she? She under the bed? There's a few instances in tonight's show where we see Dorit talking about her relationship with PK. And really the tea is that he left for weeks at a time, so the kids won't even miss him now that he's separating from her. And then they have this really awkward dinner, and PK and her have no real connection. They can't even kiss or hug each other right. It's like two people don't know each other well. They sit down, and Dorit's trying to make it look like she's trying to make it work on camera, and PK's like, I'm out the door, sweetheart. I mean, he couldn't be more out the door, like, faster. He's like, we're not going to be talking. We have to stop being codependent. I'm wearing my single PK outfit. Everything he could think of to make sure Dorit thought it's over by the end of this dinner, and put it out in the press that it's over. Like, he wanted this to come out in the press, that after this episode aired, that it's donezo. That's because I think somebody's watching. He's telling somebody something, and they're watching the show. So he went way out of his way to make sure it was clear that he is not going to stay with Dorit, and he's single. Single, single, single. What does that tell you guys? Come on. So what's really behind this? Okay, so here's my take. Dorit Kemsley is watching all of her friends build wealth or get a big payday from being with a guy. And she's kind of going, God, I've given some of my best years of my life to this man, and all I have to show for it is debt, problems. You know, he's drinking all the time. Like, I don't see this going in the right direction. And he's not home. And I think she knows or thinks he's cheating. She's just not going to say that on the show. So she's just dragging him in the only way that she feels like she can. I don't know. She doesn't want to drag him in the other way, probably because of the kids. But, like, alcoholism is better. But I guess it's a disease, so it is. So anyway, she's just like, I can't get anywhere with this guy. You know, it just isn't worth it anymore. And PK is like, you make me feel less than, and maybe if I was with a different woman, I could get somewhere because I give everything to you in being on Housewives. And he's sick of it. He doesn't want to be like a sidekick to Dorit because of the show. He's out. He's like, I'm done. He wants to be appreciated. He wants a girl who wants to have sex with him. He wants a girl to look up to him and think he's a baller again. Look at the car he drives. Of course he does. Of course he does. I could go on. But why don't you ask yourself this? Why did he minimize Dorit's robberies so much? The patrons know my take on this. But I'll tell you what. I would minimize it too if I felt guilt about something that maybe I was doing while all that bad stuff was happening in LA with my family and guys with guns. Just speculating. He sure did in that scene when Dorit was crying in front of Kyle Richards and Mauricio's house about the robbery. Run into that house awful fast when he realized he left his cell phone inside Mo and Kyle's house after arriving back from London. I mean, why would you be so worried about your cell phone? Aren't they your good friends? And isn't all of production in there? Why be worried about your phone so bad? Unless maybe you were worried something might pop up on it. I'm really feeling my new boss necklace. All right, you guys, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you soon.